Hi there, welcome back to the Kenny Veach M Cave mystery missing person case. Today I wanted to present to you a very interesting finding in which a couple of viewers have picked up on as of recent time, and it's regarding the M Cave. The possibility that the M Cave was in plain sight all along, but in a slightly different perspective as to how Kenny Veach described. Today I want to present to you the finding, the footage, the photo, analyze it, and also see what other people think in the comments. And we'll look at the comments first of all to get an idea of the descriptions and where it came from as for credit, people that picked up on it, and then go straight into the photo. As for those that are currently here in the live premiere, welcome, I appreciate it. Be sure to share your thoughts and opinions in the chat box right hand side of the screen, and for everybody else that does watch this video at a later date, leave your comments down below to let me know what you think on the matter. Okay, so let's get straight into it right now and look at the findings of people regarding the discovery of the M-shaped cave. Here we are with the first comment. Shout out to Alexia. As for context and a backstory, so you can follow along with these comments and messages by different people out there, this is in relation to Kenny Veach's M Cave hike video on his own channel, in which he was approaching Skull Canyon, walking past in that area where you had the rock walls, side of the canyons, where you had the covered up M cave, the keyhole cave, and the other M-shaped cave. And it's the one opposite the covered up cave, near to where Kenny Veach said, an area just like here. And then as he turned the camera around, panning across the other side of the canyon rock wall, that's when he zoomed in and said, and there's caves like this. Zoomed on in, he whispered, looks like, whatever that means, if it's a hint or something he remembers, and then responds with, I'm not going up there, and carries on walking and proceeds to walk faster. That is the area where people have picked up on the shape. You know, let me know if you pick up on it too, if you've previously noticed. So Alexia says, in this image, which we will get to shortly, so stick around for that, I don't see the M-shaped cave, but at the entrance I do, the outside of it. Look at those two peaks in front of the entrance. There also seems to be a gravel path to enter. I see the M up there, outside. Yes, I heard looks like. Yes, they said no. I think it's written like that. Where can I send you the photo? So that was done successfully. And credit to Alexia for her screenshot, because I do have two screenshots, one more prominent and then her original edit, which might become more natural to the eyes of people. So we'll get to them shortly. Then we got Etta, shout out to Etta, saying you can visibly see the M in the rock formation around the opening of the cave with a shocked face. That's very interesting, that. Next one, N8A, credit to them. Maybe it's just me, but I see the M. The cave is on the left side of the M shape. So consistency there. And last but not least, out of all the people, even Jeff Clark partially acknowledged it. And Jeff Clark can be quite critical and tries to be level-headed when figuring out the M cave and the true location of it. But for him to acknowledge it as well, all these people independently seeing it makes it more interesting. Jeff Clark says several things. Number one, the shape of it matches how Kenny described his M cave, tall and narrow, check. Two, when you are out there, everything is a matter of energy, reserves and time. Just because those guys can see and film features does not mean it's a simple thing to get them to check it out. You always have to keep in mind that you'll still have to make it back to your vehicle, so fully exhausting your legs is not always a good idea. Same for time involved to get up to such things, even without the time distortions that have been documented in that area. That's a mystery within itself. But I do understand what Jeff Clark's saying. So at the time of when Kenny Veach was on his way back, technically speaking, approaching Pitcher Canyon, and he saw that cave, the scary looking one, the rock wall where people recently have claimed that they see the M symbol. Maybe Kenny didn't have enough time or energy to go up there, because he was still needing to try and search for the actual M cave. But still, due to Kenny almost being on the way back to his vehicle on the hike, he might as well have checked it out, to be honest, or at least gone a bit closer to it, because as you heard him say, looks like that could have been a memory being triggered in his mindset of when he came across the M cave the first time round, right? So, with that all being said and done, as for these comments, it's good of them to point them out, and it's all individual people, and it's all natural in terms of the observations. Now, moving on, this is the credited photo by the individual Alexia in terms of the edit. You know, at first glance, let me know your thoughts. Do you see the symbol itself? Just let me know. Now, there is a faint outline of it to represent the M shape. I just want to know if you can see it yourself, right? If you can't, I will zoom on in right now. Can you see that yellow line? Starts down here, goes up to a point, and down to a point almost, then up to kind of a point, and back down, which basically forms the letter M, right? And that's how Kenny Veach described. Would this be considered the M, an actual M cave, or more the entrance of an M-shaped entrance leading into a cave? I think it could apply the same way, to be honest, because it's just in between the dip where it goes down to the point of the M. In between here is the cave. And like how that person mentioned in the comment section, it's kind of on the left-hand side of the symbol, which is kind of true. It is narrow, of course, but you could probably get into it. Now, is it shallow? Is it deep? Well, when we did an analysis of it, okay, it appeared as if something was lurking inside, which was kind of creepy. But when enhancing the image, improving the brightness, it looked quite shallow, right? Is that game over? Not to say, because the other concept and theory, which has gone about for some time now, the possibility that maybe there's a portal, or maybe the cave only opens at certain times and other times it's closed. And if not, that could be that it was filled in at a certain point. Okay, Kenny Veach went out there, he couldn't find it. Maybe the very first time he went out there on the unrecorded hike, that's when it wasn't covered up. And upon Kenny discovering it and then telling the general public online, possibly military came in and sealed something up. Could this be the example of it, right? As for the features of the rock wall, there's a few ups and downs, but it's just interesting how in this one area, the shape of the M right in the center or so, you've got a cave there, and it just so happens to be the one Kenny Veach was scared of. Now, the distance from the pathway up to there isn't that bad. Is it steep? Kind of hard to tell, but you can kind of make out where that orange outline is in between. Seems to be like a bit of a gravelled path which leads up to the entrance of the cave. So, yeah. The only other thing just to acknowledge, might as well whilst we're here, there was another comment, okay? Someone saying to the right-hand side looks like a small cave den for, a mountain lion over here. Don't know if you can see that. Pretty small, much smaller to the other one. But it could be a den for a mountain lion, possibly. And it's higher up, much steeper, but I'm sure, mountain lion could get up there. I don't know if there was any mountain lions present at the time of when Kenny Veach was passing by and he actually saw something he didn't want to see or come across, and it made him a bit nervous. But then again, if Kenny Veach was scared, okay, I can understand a natural reaction, but the very first time Kenny was scared, he just didn't have protection with him. So if he does go again with protection and still scared, then what will happen? Would he have even entered the cave if he was still scared? I wonder. Would he have tried mentally pushing himself into it? I wonder. Now, if some people aren't too convinced by the shaping of it, as I said, I did a bit more of a prominent one. It might stand out a bit more, possibly. Take in mind that that tree does obscure the rock wall behind it. And I tried doing it in line so it doesn't overlap the cave, as it goes up, down, and then back up, and then back down on the side. Kind of a rough one. This one has a better flow as the yellow symbol, but I just thought this one was a bit clearer. And in terms of the gravel path, it was just there, which seems to lead up to the opening. So is that a possibility that in plain sight it was there? Kenny Veach kind of acknowledged it, but still couldn't quite put his finger on it at the time. As said, let me know what you think down below in the comment section, whether you agree or not. At the end of the day, argue, as Kenny Veach described, an M-shaped cave, or, in other words, how he worded it, the entrance of an M shape leading into a cave. And I think that falls under the description of the finding today, because you've got the rock wall, the shape of it as an M symbol, and then in the middle, with the gravelled path leading up to it, is the cave. An M-shaped entrance leading into a cave. Because take in mind, even if you did have a literal M-shaped cave opening and you walked on in, it's not going to forever be an M-shaped tunnel all the way in. It could change in shape. It could get more narrow or wider, right? So I think it's a valid observation today, and credit to all the people that did notice it and the odd other person on a different platform. KHKE, I can't remember their username, but I'm sure they'll know who they are. So thanks for watching. If you are interested in any more videos or the entire playlist and research on this case much deeper than you could ever imagine, click the I symbol, top right corner of the screen, and you'll be redirected to the other videos and the playlist. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and found it interesting. Feel free to like and share the video to spread as much awareness as possible on the finding and the case of the missing person, Kenny Veach. I'll see you next time, but for now, goodbye and good night.